there's some evidence or like possibility anyway that religion could have been created from just like hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah, like what are they called?
DMT is what he was talking
Mushroom. What are
about.
they called?
Magic mushrooms.
Nah, what's the word, bro? Um,
I'm not sure, but it was
Psychedelics.
psychedelics. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, psychedelics. He was talking about like the burning bush, which is like something in
I
Christianity.
think I've seen this. Rock Schaubel, long time no see.
Yep, long time.
Long time.
Definitely hasn't been like 2 weeks or
Yeah,
whatever.
hasn't been. Actually, it's been longer than that because we recorded that one before the break.
Oh yeah, the
So
break was
it
2
does
weeks.
feel like pretty recent because I think
Okay.
your shit is going live as we speak right now.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, unfortunately, the circumstances led us back to meet together. Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Hurt my
so
feelings here now.
we were supposed to get Oleg Brennan on today, and he hits us with a 102 fever last minute. So it's me and you again.
Yep.
And I'm worried our conversation will be very flat because we gave it everything in our last podcast.
I don't know what to say, man. It's just I said all my wisdom to you guys, so I might not have anything for you guys today, but who knows?
Just joking. I know you got a lot to say because you are actually, if you didn't know, you are currently leading the petty squad with the most wins.
I am.
Because when I was on Matt Boss this morning watching the clips from yesterday at West Town, there's actually a segment that said like it ranked all the wrestlers in terms of wins,
Oh really?
and you had the most. Can you guess how many wins you had?
8,
10.
10. Oh wow. It's
You
not
already got
bad.
10 wins, and I think Connor's at like 9, so you're actually like shitting on the squad right now. And I gotta remember not to curse more because I think Frank was not gonna repost it if I keep cursing. So
Well, I don't know if I can promise not to curse, but we'll see. I'll try
we'll see
my
how it
best.
goes. Anyways, today I have with me this book, Derek Sivers, 27 Conflicting Answers on How to Live.
Conflicting answers.
Conflicting.
So,
None of them agree with each other,
oh,
which is the best part of this book. Let me give an example.
Oh.
So basically, the goal of this book is he tries to give varying perspectives on how to live a good life. All right. So the first chapter of the book is be independent. The
okay.
second chapter of the book is commit.
Pretty conflicting.
Pretty conflicting, right? One of the chapters is pursue pain. The other chapter is don't die.
Also pretty conflicting.
So I've picked out for me, so there's 27 of them, right? So I have a total of 13. I just chose random pages out of this book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read them. We're gonna talk about them.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can get through all 13 of them in about an hour. Because I know we got things to do on a Sunday. So yeah, let's get started.
Sounds good.
So we're gonna start with page 17. Most actions are a pursuit of emotions. You think you really want to take action or own a thing, but what you really want is the emotion that you think it'll bring. Skip the action, go straight for the emotion. Practice feeling emotions intentionally instead of using actions to create them. You don't need marriage to feel security. Marriage doesn't make you feel secure. You don't need recognition to feel pride. Recognition doesn't give you pride. You don't need a beach to feel tranquility. Places don't make emotions, you do. Your whole experience of life is in your mind. Focus on your internal world, not external world. When a problem is bothering you, it feels like you need to do something about it. Instead, identify what belief is really the source of your trouble. Replace that belief with one that doesn't bother you. Then the problem is solved. Most problems are really just situations. You make a decision to feel forward motion, but it's a treadmill that takes you nowhere. When someone asks you to decide, just refuse. The longer you go without deciding, the more information is revealed. Eventually, the choice is obvious and made without an agonizing decision. Just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it.
I mean, like,
There's a lot going on.
there's a lot going on there. What was I gonna say? Like the first part where I was talking about like to get like skip the action to get emotion. Don't you have to do some kind of action? Like maybe you don't need recognition to feel pride, but you got to do something in the first place to feel pride about what you did. And like, yeah, I did that, whether you get
Right.
recognition or not.
I think that first part did not make much sense to me. that like you don't need the beach to feel tranquility.
Yeah,
I mean, like obviously this is like from the middle of a segment, so maybe he was trying to make some other argument before that. But I did like the conclusion of that piece that most of your perception of this world is in your mind, right? That like
yeah.
sure he might have like stretched it too far with like the descriptions he was using, but the fact that like a lot of situations can be solved with just a new way of looking at things, right? And I think that so much of your existence on this world is dictated by how you see it through your eyes.
Hmm.
Like last night we were talking about the concept of time, which maybe we can get back into today's discussion, right? That like so much of like what you experience is just like mental.
Yeah, it's like the placebo effect. I was saying something about that at like breakfast. We're talking like Max.
Yeah.
It's like just because you believe you're gonna get better, that makes you get better. It's just the mind is pretty powerful. So, but it's also hard to tell your mind what to think because you're telling your mind to think something, then you don't actually believe it because you're telling your mind to think the thing. I don't
Mm.
know if that makes any sense.
No, I get it because like a lot of your beliefs are formed through like moments throughout your life, right? Something your parent told you, something you watch on the internet that kind of formulates the beliefs you have. It's not easy to change those beliefs, right? It's not easy to wake up one morning and just tell yourself that, okay, I'm gonna start believing this thing.
Yeah, no, that's hard.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like this concept of placebo a lot. I think I heard this study a while back about, I think there were women who were working at a hotel
Hmm.
and all day they were like pushing carts, pushing carts, pushing carts. They're like a little bit older women as well. And I think there was a study that was done, right, where they split these women in the hotel into two groups, a control group and then a group where they basically told them that you're actually burning 1,000 calories a day doing what you do, which was it true or is it not? I don't know if that was a true piece, but they told them that group.
Hmm.
And over the next 2 weeks, they noticed that the group that they told that you are actually losing weight, I mean, sorry, you are actually burning calories, they started to lose weight.
Hmm.
Other group did not.
Yeah,
What do you think about that?
that's what I'm saying. It's like the power of the mind. It's like pretty sure like the original concept of placebo had something to do in World War II, World War One. I don't know, one of the wars. And it was like a nurse ran out of morphine or something, so she just took like sugar water and gave it to one of the soldiers, but he still like felt less pain because he thought it was morphine, which is like crazy because obviously the nerves are still doing nerve things and they're still probably feeling pain, but the mind like I don't know, it like suppressed it because it was like it's not there. I'm doing better. I'm chilling.
Yeah,
No
it's
problem.
interesting, man. I think that also goes back to that quote that Coach Frank always talks about that like you're capable of more than your mind allows. I don't
Yeah,
know if he said it this year, but he said it a lot in this past, right? Like I think we
yeah.
can take the idea of placebo and like sort of tell us things that may not be true, but serve us in a way, right? That like you tell yourself you're gonna be great and you just keep telling yourself till you believe it, and then it might actually become true.
Manifest destiny. I don't know if that's the right word. The manifestation. You just for fake it till you make it. That's another one that could apply. Just
Yeah,
like you're doing something until it comes true. You're like, yeah,
interesting.
fake the hard work until you actually work hard. I don't know.
Have you ever heard of like stories of people who've had like near death experiences?
Not really.
I think I was watching a podcast recently, and what this guy was talking about was that like when he had a near death experience, like he had I think it was a stroke, right? And he basically described like how you kind of like see different like dimensions of things. Like you see time in this really weird way when you're almost at a near death. That's what a
Hmm.
lot of people talk about.
Hmm.
But another thing they bring up is like how much they first notice like how interconnected like everything is in some weird way. And they also always bring up how they realize that so much of like what happens in the world is all like kind of an illusion the mind creates, right? That even the fact that we're sitting here right now experiencing like this moment, it could just be an illusion, right? Like I could be experiencing something completely different than you're experiencing right now,
Yeah,
right? Like how much of what we see is real, we don't actually know that.
yeah. It's like the whole Matrix thing. We're living in this world, but there could be a whole other world that's the actual reality. But this is just like a dream we're living. Have you seen the Matrix?
No, I've heard
You've
about
never seen
I've
the
heard
Matrix?
the movie. I've seen clips
Oh
of
my
it.
God. Oh,
But tell me about it.
basically it's like this dystopian future where like robots are like farming humans for like power. It's weird. I'm pretty sure. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've watched it, but they're like farming humans for power. So they got these like little humans in like incubators, and they got them like hooked up to like machines to like just like simulate the world we're living in right now. So it's like this is all fake. It's just our senses and our brain tricking us into thinking this is real. But in reality, we're in some like soup fluid about to get farmed and fed to these weird robots. It's but yeah, it's an interesting concept, you know.
What do you think though about like the world itself? Like, what do you think any of this means? You ever thought about it?
I prefer not to think about that because it's like it's too much to think about. It's too much to think about. Like, what does the world mean?
Do you think there's some like, do you think it's all just like randomness that's created everything around us? Or do you think that there's like some bigger force out there? Like some people call it God, but like, do you think there's something bigger than like what we perceive like around us?
I don't know. I think God is probably real, maybe. And even if God isn't real, like the effects that he has on people are real, whether he's real or not. Believing in him has positive effects. So like people at church, they donate and they're nice to their other people who they're nice to their congregation. So that's a positive benefit of believing in God, whether he's real or not. Kind of like the placebo thing. I don't know if that's connected or not, but
In a way.
seems kind of in a way maybe.
So there's like when you say there's benefits, right? So you mentioned like the donations, right? So it's helping other people around. I
Mhm.
guess you're saying, do you think there's other benefits like just for your mind and state of being? Like when you have some belief in some system, like or some God, like do you think that kind of helps you in a way, like when you're living your life?
I don't know, maybe like the sense of the idea maybe that you like have a destiny, like God's got it all planned out and you're just gonna like live your own life and you're gonna go where he wants you to go and things are gonna happen to you. Maybe that gives you like a sense of security because it's like, what's gonna happen is meant to happen. Or if you don't believe in it, it's just all random and you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen either way, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it helps you be more sane, right? Because I think that, some people are like, they don't like the concept of it because just like you're just forcing yourself to live an illusion,
Mhm.
which might be real, might not be real, but you're kind of just like using it as an illusion. But I mean, I think life is all again in your mind, right? So I think having that illusion can make you feel better about life in general, right?
Yeah,
Like, especially for people that like, even people that are like happy living their day-to-day lives, and like one moment it just hits them like, what the fuck is happening, right? Like this whole world makes no sense. And then things like religion can like help them keep them sane, right? Even if it's like stories and things like that.
yeah.
But I'm not saying that there's any religion in particular that has it all correct, but I do think there's something bigger out there. And I think people have found ways to access that in pieces throughout history that they've somehow felt a connection to the bigger thing. But I don't think they can really translate that into words, right? I don't think they can explain that to people. And I think that's where religions are really born. Like they try to somehow convert this feeling that they felt into words,
Hmm.
and it manifests in like Christianity or Hinduism, and it manifests in different ways. But I think there's elements of truth in like all religions, right? Like,
You know what I heard? This is kind of like it's on topic, but like off topic. I was watching some Joe Rogan thing, and he was talking about how there's some evidence or like possibility anyway that religion could have been created from just like hallucinogenic
yeah,
drugs.
like what are they called?
DMT is what he was talking
Mushroom. What are
about.
they called?
Magic mushrooms. Is that what
Nah,
you're talking
what's the word, bro? Um,
I'm not sure, but it was
Psychedelics.
oh psychedelics. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, psychedelics. He was talking about like the burning bush, which is like something in
I think
Christianity.
I've seen this.
Yeah, you
Was
probably
it
seen it.
Graham Hancock?
Hmm?
Graham Hancock.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, I think I watched that
that might have
episode
been
where
his
he's
name.
talking about that.
But yeah, it was like the burning bush was some plant that has like DMT in it, and the guy was like looking at it. I don't know what guy it was, but someone, and it was like breathing it in, and just went on this like crazy mind trip, and just like came back and was like, dude,
It's all real.
God, you know. So I mean, who knows? But at the end of the day, I think it's helped people. Like my church does like donations
Well,
to
you're
like
Christian, right?
yeah,
You read the Bible every night. You
yeah,
try to, yeah.
yeah. I don't really. I just read a little bit, just like at least one word every night.
That's
Just
good.
stay consistent.
Yeah, stay consistent.
Doesn't matter how much, just a little bit.
I think one of the perspectives that's helped me to kind of understand like what it all means is like when I think about different scales of things, right? To think that there's like ants that are like this tiny, probably crawling around right now in this room, and even smaller than that, there's like cells, and there's like nucleus, and there's like atoms, and there's electrons. right? Like, and then there's like something that's so big as the sun, right? I would imagine like all the cells in your body were like smart cells, right? And they had like a human brain, like not exactly a human brain, but let's say they were so smart and they like figured out that we are cells, right? And we're made of like this endoplasmic reticulum. We're made of like this ribosomes, we're made of this nucleus. Like, oh, we're so smart, we figured out everything out about ourselves. Then they figure out, oh wait, we're actually in the stomach right now. We're in the small intestine. Oh, there's something called a nose. Oh, we figured out there's something called the human body, and that's all they know. And then you told them, oh yeah, there's all this thing called the earth that exists. They can't even comprehend that.
So are you trying to say like,
So we are the humans, right? We think we have smart brains. We figured out, oh, we're humans, and this is the Earth, and this is the solar system.
uh-huh.
I think that's just a limit to something that's bigger
So you think like
that we can't even comprehend.
because I don't like thinking about space because it hurts my brain. But it's like, what's outside the known universe? Because like there's a point where it's like our telescopes can't reach it because it's like the light isn't coming to us, so we can't see it because there's no light. Um, but it's like, does it just keep going? Is it infinite? Or is it like our little universe is like another little thing, and then there's like other universes, and it's like,
Not even other
you
universes,
know,
but like something we can't even understand that's bigger than this, right?
yeah. There's like a similar kind of thing with that, just like can't even understand it, like 4D. Imagine you're like a 2D person and all you've lived is 2D. You can't imagine what 3D is going to be like. And it would be the same thing for 4D. There could be a fourth dimension. There could be these like 4D
I
beings.
think they
Who
call four
knows?
dimension like time, right?
Maybe time's a fourth dimension. That'd be pretty crazy if time was. Imagine we could travel time.
That'd be so cool,
Because
man.
you can travel into the future, but you can't really travel into the
What
past.
do you mean
Yeah.
travel into the future? You can't.
Well, it's like basically, I'm pretty sure like the closer you get to the speed of light, like because Einstein's theory of relativity or something, closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time moves for you, but then time's moving fast for everyone else still. So and they measured it like you could put like a clock at the bottom of Mount Everest and the clock at the top, and because it's Earth is spinning, the one on the top they'll have different times, even though they're like the exact same clock. They'll have different times, but yeah, like if you go really fast, time's gonna move slower for you. So then by the time you stop going fast, you're gonna um like everyone else is gonna be like in the future, but you're still like, I don't know, 5 seconds
That's
older.
actually so cool.
That's the premise of Planet
Oh,
of the Apes, the original one.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
I'm
in the
not seeing that
spaceship
either.
and they come back to Earth and like apes took over.
Yeah, time. Let's get into the discussion of time because I read this book called The Secret Pulse of Time
Hmm.
last this summer, actually. This was this previous summer. It's a pretty interesting book because it talks about this concept of time, right? I think that people tend to think that time is a very universal thing that just exists. Like there's some universal time that's ticking, like
Hmm.
1 second, 2 second, 3 second, right? But I think the most interesting thing is that time for me is probably not the same as time for you, right? And here's what I mean by that. Even time for me might not be the same as time for me, right? If I'm standing in line in a supermarket, it'll feel long. But if
Yeah.
I'm scrolling on my phone on TikTok, it feel quick, right? So time does not always like go at the same rate for everyone in every circumstance, right? There are times where like time feels like it's going faster. There's times when time's feeling like it's going slower, right? And with relativity and all these like concepts of time, like I think that our perception of just like how our perception of this world is different person to person. I think even our perception of time is like always like changing and changing. Like for someone who's like, I believe at least someone who's living a life where they're doing a lot of things they don't enjoy, like they go to a 9 to 5. And don't get me wrong, some people love their 9 to 5 jobs, but I'm talking about people who don't like their 9 to 5 jobs, who go there, trying to get to the day, so they're home, and then they're scrolling on TikTok, then they're playing video games, and they're like eating shit food, and like they're always like on this um trying to escape time. Like they're always either A, they're like trying to fast forward their life right now. Like I wish I was here right now. I wish I was there right now. Or they're inducing themselves with like time killers, right? Like waste of time. I think for them, time must go by so quick, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not really filling their day with anything, any texture, right? But I think alternatively, people who spend their time like doing things like that they really enjoy, at the point where they've minimized the amount of like, I really hope that I really wish I'm not here right now. Like, for example, I might be sitting in chapel wishing that like I want to fast forward this moment. The more and more you can minimize that throughout the day, I think the more and more time will feel like it's moving slower and the more like richer life will really feel on a day-to-day basis. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you said you did something like that where you were on TikTok and then you like cut it all out and then time kind of went back how it used to move. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like I've been kind of interested in that since coming to Petty because like I just kind of want to go home and like hang out with my friends and do no work because me and my friends we just do. Pardon my French. If Coach Frank is watching this, we just do dumb shit. So it's like I don't know. It's fun. So and I want to make that time last the longest. So like at Petty, having a routine. I think having a routine for the same day makes time feel faster because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So it's not like so when you look back on it, like they
Right.
all kind of all the days kind of mesh into one. I feel like that might make time feel faster. And then also like I try to stay off like TikTok and whatever and YouTube, but like I'll watch movies. I like movies. Movies are good. Try and just like get the time to go. But also I spend time like just like sitting and thinking because like you gotta like refresh the brain. You can't just be go 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 all the time. So I don't know. It's about a balance. But then when I go home, I try and stay off my phone, hanging out with friends and stuff. So that when I look back on it, it's like, yeah, that was a good time. Really felt like a long break, you know?
Yeah, I'm hoping that over the years, like we'll get a better understanding of this, because out of the things that humans don't really understand so far, like we think we're pretty smart guys and we figured everything out. I think time is one of the things we know the least about. Like
Yeah.
nobody understands time.
Yeah. Time's a weird one. I was watching a Vsauce video. I think I explained this.
Vsauce. What's that?
You never like a YouTube channel Vsauce.
No, I don't know
And
Vsauce.
he goes like, "Hi, Kevin here."
Nah, I've
No,
never
all right,
seen
he
this
does
guy.
that. Anyways, I hope I was out of the frame.
That'd be so funny.
That'd be good effect because that's what he does. He goes out of the frame and then comes back
I
in the
just
frame.
pops in.
Hi, Kevin here, or Vsauce here. I don't know. He does something weird. Anyways, he was talking about how like there's like two ways time moves. I explained this to you already, but for whoever's watching, you're welcome. You're gonna enjoy this very long-winded explanation.
I'm ready. I don't think I remember.
So like there's like two ways time goes. It's like it's either like slow while you're experiencing it. So like if you're waiting for something to end, like sitting in chapel and you're like, please let this end. It feels like it takes forever while you're in chapel. But then when you leave, it's like it was like barely even happened. Like it doesn't feel like it was that long. And then there's another one where it feels like it goes by fast while you're doing it. But then when you look back on it, it felt like it was a longer, which is so like doing nothing and not being engaged is the first one where it takes a while, like sitting in class, you're like, please get me out of here. Like that, that's the worst feeling because it's like it takes forever. But like when you're out of it, it didn't feel too long. Like I'm sure people's times in school didn't feel so long sometimes. Maybe sometimes they do. But and then when you're like hanging out with friends or like doing something engaging, like time flies, like it goes by fast. But then when you look back on it, it's like, oh yeah, those were the good old days. Spent a lot of time doing dumb shit.
You
But
can
then
count on your fingers like all the different things I did. Like, oh shit, all that happened in just a short period of time.
yeah, exactly. But then there was like a third one, like once TV was invented, where it's like it goes by fast. And when you look back on it, it felt like not much time has passed. So that's the same thing with like TikTok and like YouTube. It's like goes by fast. And yeah. So it's like, I don't know. You gotta
Crazy.
like balance it. So you try and like live a long life. I
Right.
don't know how to we're
But
only 17.
at the same time, like I don't think stressing about trying to over optimize it. Like I wish I can like optimize how fast time, like how slow time feels. Like I don't think that's healthy either. Like you should
Yeah.
like take a chill pill and just relax. Like I do that a lot too, and I try to like tell myself just relax, do things that are good for you, and you kind of know back in your mind, like not spending too much time on TikTok, things like that. But no, there's another thing that I heard about what your mind tends to do with time when it's looking back at history, right? When it's trying to understand like how long periods of time really took.
Mhm.
It has a tendency to take short periods of time and make them feel very, very long. Or actually your memory. Like you'll tend to remember very short periods of time, but then you'll tend to forget very long periods of time. And you'll tend to like look at long periods of time as a very short time. You tend to look at short times like a very long time, right? Like
Interesting.
there's probably like one memory from when you were in fifth grade that you just can't forget, right?
Yeah.
Like one memory in middle school that you just remember so clearly in your mind that like every single detail of that you remember. But then you might like summarize a whole year of my life, like, oh yeah, that during that time I was just doing X, right? Where you took this entire year where you probably did so many different things and just summarize it in like a sentence. Your mind tends to like make small events so much bigger in your mind and big events so much smaller, right? Or like long events smaller,
Hmm.
right?
It's
I don't
interesting.
understand it. I don't understand the concept for mind. Like I've watched so many videos about like our mind, like time, and I still don't understand.
Yeah, time's a weird one. Who knows? Hopefully we'll figure it out eventually.
All right, let's go to the next one. It's actually the next page. So let's
Is it
see.
gonna be like the contradicting one?
No, I just chose random pages, bro.
Because I'd be kind of curious, because like I'm sure whoever came up with these theories are smarter
Also,
than us.
yeah.
But it's like I'd be kind of curious to like what's the opposite side of whatever one.
So the thing is that like there's not always an opposite one. So it's
Oh
kind of
no,
like all shuffled and they don't always agree with each other.
fair enough.
So this comes from a chapter which you might be surprised, but the chapter it comes from is called Do Nothing, which is
We were
something we were talking about, right?
we were
I was
talking
hoping
about
it'd be more related to that, but it's also like 5 pages long. And I took one page, which probably didn't get to the point. But this is also part of Do Nothing, so I'm hoping that it goes into it. So
cool.
next page. Dramatic people are fueled by reactions. When you stop reacting, they go away. Same goes for yourself. Your emotions insist they need you to respond. When you ignore the urges, they go away. Let me think about it. Okay. Observe yourself. Your own mind is the best laboratory. It's also the most private and peaceful place to work. To be wise, shut out all media and opinions. No news, no gossip, no entertainment. Most of it is not worth knowing. Junk may reach your senses, but don't let it reach your mind. Don't accept the false stories people tell. Things are neither good nor bad. They're as neutral as rock. When people give opinions, add a question mark. If they say immigration is bad, change it to immigration is bad. Let the questions drift away unanswered. The unintelligent jump to conclusions. The wise just observe. Wisdom comes from removing the junk, lies, and obstacles to clear thinking. Instead of learning more, get wise by learning less. Keep an empty head so you can observe clearly. The less you do, the more you can see. Observe and learn. Watch the world. Live where nothing is happening. Move to a quiet place with lots of nature and no ambition. Doing nothing is normal there. Walk and appreciate nature for hours a day.
I got kind of two things to say. One, I've told you this before, but you'd enjoy my English class, Secrets of Nature. Talk a lot about like going to nature and just like relaxing, taking a chill pill. Uh, but yeah, what was I gonna say? I was gonna
You
say
do that a lot.
I try and do it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
It's about nature. It's about doing nothing.
what I was gonna say was I was talking about observe less, sorry, observe more and like don't learn and like
Oh,
learn
right,
less.
right. So like stop consuming so much content and kind of just observe with
What I heard was like really educated people can get like stuck on a problem because they're kind of like stuck in the way that they've learned. So they're trying to like solve this problem in the way that they've learned to solve problems. But like if you don't have any idea about whatever the problem is, like maybe you have to have some idea, otherwise you wouldn't know what you're doing. But like you know less, then you're not like confined to like what you've already learned. So you can like think outside the box because I don't know if that makes sense.
it's called recency bias. Like when you base new things you're learning on things you've already known from the past, right? That you've learned like you've learned how to do things a specific way
Hmm.
that kind of limits you to how
Hmm.
you approach problems in the future,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's what I'm
Recency
trying to say.
bias, right? Also the fact that like if you hear an argument like immigration is bad that convinces you, when you hear an argument like immigration is good, you'll immediately start arguing against it before hearing the arguments because you're already kind of agree with what you already believe,
Yeah.
right? So confirmation bias as well, right? Which is just like as humans, it is natural in our nature that like the world is chaotic by nature, and to make it less chaotic, we just have like a set of like mental models or like things we tell ourselves that we believe are true to make it more
Hmm.
simple. And because of that, whenever we hear something that's against our own beliefs, we'll just say it's wrong or we'll try to run away from it. Right? It's how we are as humans.
That's why social media is kind of funny because everyone's like arguing all the time
Yeah.
and no one listens. They're just like shouting at each other. Pretty funny.
Yeah, all the trolls. But yeah, let's talk about the other piece of it, like the do nothing piece of it, where it's like don't watch any social media, don't watch any like was I don't know what it said, movies or news, and
Yeah.
don't consume anything and just observe. What do you think about that?
We talked about this a little bit in my English class as well. There's like a Scandinavian like philosophy of like do nothing. So it's also like in Japan or something and like Costa Rica. I don't know, some other stuff. But just like they have shorter work weeks and they just like they have time during the day where they like, I don't know, go hang out with a friend or like meditate or whatever, where they're doing nothing. And That's the whole point of it. Because, and I was saying to someone, it was like, I feel like TikTok and YouTube, like you're on it, and but your mind is engaged, like you're still doing something. I feel like it's not making you think, so you're not like doing anything, but you're still kind of engaged, so you're not doing nothing. Um, and so you can go on for like hours and still not feel like 100% relaxed kind of thing. But like if you just like sit for like 10 minutes, I don't know, just like think about something, it's kind of hard. But then by the end of the 10 minutes, you're like, well, I just been sitting doing nothing for 10 minutes. Um, you're like more relaxed because you're like, I don't know, you gotta go do something now because being bored is uncomfortable. So I don't know. I feel like doing nothing is more relaxing.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that when people are trying to take breaks, like let's say you're working on like some work task or anything at all, right? And you want to take a break. Most people look at a break like I'll watch a YouTube video, I'll like scroll on my phone, right? And they
Hmm.
constitute that as good for you as taking a break, right? But I think there's a little bit of a dilemma here, right? Because they gravitate toward things that feel good right now as a break because you get the dopamine of it. But they don't actually refresh you, they actually drain you more, right? So the mindset I've had recently is that instead of judging something based on how much I want to do it, I want to like see like how do I feel when I'm done doing it, right?
Yeah,
If you scroll on your phone for 10 minutes, do you feel relaxed? Do you feel rejuvenated? Do you feel like
exactly.
ready to go back? Compare that to like a 10-minute nap. Like which one feels better? And people are so quick to saying that, okay, yeah, I have some free time, let's watch like this YouTube video or let's watch this movie, right? And don't judge it based on how good it feels right now. Judge it based on how you feel after, right? Be more self-conscious about that because we tend to forget things very fast, right? So you really want to make a mental note of that, write it down that when I do X activity, I feel this way. That's not how I want to be feeling, right? Because you don't feel if you're taking a 10-minute break from work, right? You want to do something that rejuvenates you, right? Whether it's sitting there and doing nothing, as you described, going out and like taking a break in nature, just letting your mind relax. And those things will actually make you feel better when you come back and tackle your work again.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard because you're like instant gratification, instant gratification is like ruins everything.
Yeah, it's hard, man. How do you think that we can solve that? I mean, you've definitely made big changes.
Oh man, I don't know.
Not even on a social big scale level, societal level, like just in an individual life. Like what
On an
have you done?
individual level, I don't know. I think I've kind of taken an approach of like moderation. You gotta have some moderation. Like you gotta do things that kind of suck and like that, but that are gonna like reward, like they're gonna have rewards in the future. But you can't just be like grinding all the time, otherwise you're gonna burn out. So, taking some time doing, I don't know, whatever you enjoy, like whatever your hobby is, doing something like that. Like, I mean, obviously, watching movies and stuff. It's not good to do all the time, but I like to watch movies.
Yeah, I mean, everything is good in moderation. Like we
Yeah.
talked about this in the first podcast, right? Like how you can, I mean, obviously the way I did it was probably not the way most people would do it, with structuring times where you're allowed to do it. But
Yeah.
I think being smart with yourself, just like, okay, I'm watching this movie now. I've not watched the movie in a while. I've been focused for a while. It's okay to once in a while feel that. But for me, there are some experiences that can definitely increase the quality of your life, like watching a movie
Mhm.
when done in moderation. But the second you cross that limit, it can definitely ruin your life and not make you feel like right.
Yeah. I kind of like, well, what I do is like I do my work in the morning and then I have a couple other things. I kind of stopped taking cold showers, I'm not gonna lie. Like I turn
We
it
gotta talk
cold.
about
Yeah.
that.
I turn it cold at the end of the
But
shower
it's not the same
because
thing.
otherwise I'm like, gotta kind of do a little bit of it. But it's not 100% the same. But I don't know. But like I do my work in the morning and then go to school and like wrestling practice. And it's all stuff that's like, if I had the choice, I wouldn't really do it. But the rest of the day, I just do whatever I want. Like in the morning, that's my free time kind of, but I choose to do work. And then the rest of my free time is like, I can do whatever. It's my choice. I can watch a movie if I want. I can watch TikTok if I want. Usually I
You don't
don't.
have TikTok though, right?
No, I don't have TikTok. I deleted TikTok. And then I tried to get it once because I was like curious, but then because I have a new American number,
You can't.
I can't.
Good.
It's some weird like bot thing. So like the whole
Yeah.
For You page is all messed up. But yeah, so I don't have TikTok. But um, where was I going with this?
Who knows? Okay, let's take a quick water break. We'll be right back. All right, let's go to the third one. See if we can do like 2 or 3 more. Go quick. Cool. Yeah. All right. Shifting gears here. From a separate chapter. See your elderly face and take care of that person. Run it on photos of the people you care for. Save the results and put them where you'll see them every day. These future people are your responsibility now. So real quick, this was out of the paragraph before this was talking about how you can like get these apps on your phone that can make your face look elderly, right? So it's basically saying that
Oh, okay.
make people around you like look elderly and look at that photo.
Sure.
Okay. Imagine your future self judging your current life choices. When making a decision, ask yourself how you'll feel about it when you're old. What would your future self and family thank you for? Simple actions now will compound to give them a better life. Delay gratification. Today's discomfort brings future rewards. When you have a clear view of the future, you won't mind the small sacrifice. You never regret not indulging. Only spend money on things that do long-term good, like education. In other words, never spend, only invest. The earlier you start, the better, since time is a multiplier. Make huge achievements, sorry, Many huge achievements are just the results of little actions done persistently over time. Cities begin with just one building. Walmart, Walmart was one little store. People with incredible skill just practiced every day. Put $25 a day in your investment account, and in 30 years, you'll have over $1 million. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year. We underestimate what we can do in 10 years. If you take up a new hobby at the age of 40, or whatever age you think is too late, you'll be an expert by the age of 60.
Not much to say. I just agree.
100%, right? I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, like
Yeah.
delaying gratification. I mean, I think this piece, like, it does a little bit more, and like some of the mindsets you can kind of use to help you, right? That how you can. We always talk about like how do you actually like stop yourself from indulging in what's right now, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to put words into like what we've been able to do
Mhm.
because it's not necessarily like, telling someone to stop going on TikTok, not necessarily make them stop going on TikTok,
Yeah.
right? But I think the idea of like keeping your future self in mind, I think that's a very interesting concept. I remember the first time I read this, I think I even used that app real quick to see what it looks like. It's kind of fun. But you have to choose like, do you want to be happy now or happy later? And if you keep choosing happy later, eventually your life becomes like, wow, I'm so thankful for like my past self did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I again, you also kind of have to do it in moderation, like we were saying before. It's like saying like a lot, aren't I?
What? A
I'm just
lard?
I'm saying like a lot, aren't I?
Oh no, you're fine right now.
But I was gonna say like again. Caught myself.
Good one.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? It's a
Delay
Sunday.
gratification.
It's a Sunday. My brain's not working well. Delayed gratification. You have to do it in moderation, because if you just like only are grinding, and you can grind and grind for 10 years and then you'll be a millionaire, but the 10 years they might be miserable and it'll be hard to grind for 10 years. But like you do it in moderation, you grind for a bit, and then you take your break, but you got to be consistent. So maybe you grind for an hour or two a day, and then you go to school and you have wrestling practice, and then you do, and then you have 2 more hours to do whatever you want. And it's like, you get the instant gratification during those 2 hours. So you get some gratification, and then you do the other stuff and you get your delayed gratification later. It's
Like
all balance.
I know we've been talking about this a lot about how does that balancing it induce in your life, right? That you need it's okay to once in a while indulge.
Mhm.
The more and more I think about it, the more and more I think back to memories like when I first started delaying gratification. Like I felt like really good like when
Yeah.
I first started doing it, right? Like so like when I was in my junior year of winter, right? When I first started cutting down on a lot of things, like stopping. I mean, deleting social media, right? Like stop going on my phone, stop watching videos, like stop doing all the bad habits I always did, and just focus on like doing the good habits, right? I feel like the happiest I've ever been in my life is every time I'm committed to doing that over an extended period of time, right? Like that junior winter where I was just working hard,
Mhm.
you know, like over the summer where I was just consistently like focused on my one goal, right? Once in a while, I tell myself that you kind of need to experience things in life, right? So I'll listen to the music when it's my music day or music week, or I'll go traveling, even though I know I'm happier when I'm just at home in my routine. And I feel happier when I'm delaying gratification than when I'm indulging in it. Which raises the question, like, why do we indulge in it in the first place? At least for me, because I still feel like a life from just in my routine and from today until I die is like kind of like in my mind, it's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
So I'll say that, okay, once in a while I'll add in like this trip here, or I'll add in like some time I can listen to music here, even though like I'm happier when I'm not doing it. It's like this weird, I don't know. I mean, like I know
No,
like you've kind of been on the side of like it's okay to indulge like
yeah.
throughout, right? So maybe not as like relatable side for you, but
Yeah,
what do you think about
you're a
it?
different breed,
I
man.
mean, I don't think it's like all that, but
No, because like instant gratification is nice, you know. I mean, when you spend a lot of time doing other stuff and you receive the delayed gratification, that's kind of nice. Um, but when it comes to instant gratification, like on Instagram, I'll go through Instagram Reels because I had it deleted for so long, I didn't go on it, and then I got it because I was I wanted time to go by fast because
why is that?
I'm trying to get to my next break and I can
That's not good.
so I can hang out with my friends and we can go to the cottage and blow up cans of propane on a lake. That's the game plan.
Yeah.
Anyways, just dumb shit, you know. But and it's like afterwards, like I'm on it for like 10 minutes and I'm like, why am I on here? Like it used to be just like I'm just going through and this and that, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't it didn't feel as
Satisfying.
yeah, as entertaining. I don't know. It wasn't it.
So when you say like you were on Reels, right? Was it, I know like right now you said it's because you want time to go by faster.
Mhm.
Were you like thinking that like at the time, like let's make time goes faster, let's scroll, or were you kind of just like,
Kind of. It was like I kind of wanted to do that, and then I was like, and I remembered um going on Instagram Reels or TikTok, which I can't really get anymore. Um, and that's a good way to waste time and turn your brain off and whatnot. So that's I went back to it, but it didn't feel the same. I
interesting?
don't know.
There was another piece here about that I really like a lot. Many huge achievements are just the results of little actions done persistently over time.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean it'll all add up. It's like working out. Oh my bad.
You're good.
It's like working out. You work out for an hour a day or 2 hours a day, and it's day by day, you're not going to notice the differences, but stay consistent with it. You'll end up like Chris Bumstead, you know. He's Canadian, actually. He's from
Oh,
Ottawa.
is he? He's
He's from
Canadian?
Ottawa.
I didn't know
Ottawa.
that. Um, the thing I like about this quote is because people that I've seen a lot of my life always think that there's some secret to success,
Mhm.
whether it's in terms of growing a business or it's in terms of lifting or it's in terms of wrestling, like whatever it might be. When you ask someone like, how do you think you achieve success, right? Like in wrestling, the mindset I always had growing up, because those are the type of people I've kind of like talked to growing up. I would have answered that, oh, like the top wrestlers like knew something that I didn't know. Or the people who grew that business knew something I didn't know. Or the people who got jacked knew something I didn't know. And I just have to know that thing and I'm good. Right. But it's not true because it's just the simple things done over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Like the guy who got jacked, he didn't know anything more than I did. He just did the same thing over and over again. He worked out and he ate over and over again, right?
Mhm.
And the same thing with business. But I think people fall back and say, oh, it's not true for business, right? Because when you're trying to start a business, people will think that you need like the one strategy to win, right? So they'll jump around, let's flip houses, let's start a podcast, let's, get into brick and mortar, and let's start a clothing brand. They'll try like so many different things, hoping one of them will succeed. They all can succeed if you do the work. If you just choose one thing and just do it as much as possible for 10 years, it's kind of inevitable. It will be successful, right? If you put in the input.
Yeah.
So
There's
what do you
this
think?
entrepreneurs. I don't know what the there's some stat where it's like a bunch of entrepreneurs who have successful businesses have like 3 or 4 failed businesses, but they just keep going at it. So I don't know if a lot of them, they probably like um, shift,
Like different types?
yeah, different
Yeah.
types. I want to say genre. That's not the word I'm looking for. Like
Well,
categories of
yeah, okay.
business.
Okay.
They probably shift. Like my business teacher in grade 10, he
Did a business teacher?
yeah.
Like within your school curriculum?
Well, it was in It was an elective,
Oh, okay, okay.
but like we didn't have to take it. In grade 9, we could choose either tech or business. But
That's
then in
interesting.
grade 10, I took tech and business because I had an extra elective. Um, but yeah, he sells some like books under some books from his house, like online, does some stuff like that. He owns his own dojo. But I mean, if he was truly that successful, he wouldn't have to be a business teacher at Port Credit. But I don't know, maybe he enjoys it. I don't know. But yeah, like he is like having a dojo
What's a
for
dojo? Like a
uh,
is it a
martial
dojo
arts,
bird? Oh, okay.
martial arts, Aikido. Aikido is his
Oh, a
thing.
dojo, right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
He has a dojo, but a dojo and selling books online are completely different things. You know,
Different genres.
yeah, different genres, different categories. They're completely different things. So I don't know. You got to stay persistent for something with something for a while, but oh, maybe they stick with it and then they go bankrupt, and then they
I've seen people that
do a
yeah.
different one because they can't continue. Maybe that's what they do.
Maybe.
They try and stay with it for as long as they can.
Yeah. But that's cool. I feel like that page kind of summarizes a lot of things we talked about. So
Yeah.
next one, page 31. Oh, I've read this one on a podcast before.
Oh yeah.
What a coincidence. So I read this on the first podcast. I decided to just pull this book up and read one page from it. But a little throwback. Here's how to live. Master something. Be a monomaniac on a mission to be truly great at something difficult. Pick one thing and spend the rest of your life getting deeper into it. Mastery is the best goal because the rich can't buy it, the impatient can't rush it, the privileged can't inherit it, and nobody can steal it. You can only earn it through hard work. Mastery is the ultimate status. Striving makes you happy. Pursuit is the opposite of depression. People at the end of the life who said they were the happiest with their life were the ones who spent the most time in the flow of fascinating work. Concentrating all of your life forces onto one thing gives you incredible power. Sunlight won't catch on fire, but if you use a magnifying glass to focus the sunlight on one spot, it will. Mastery needs your full focused attention. The more you learn about something, the more there is to learn. You see what normal people don't see. The path gets more and more interesting as you go.
That's an interesting way to look at it, because I kind of want to like be good at like everything. Like I take up I do football, I'm in wrestling, took up golfing over the summer. That's just fun with the boys. But um I feel like it'd be kind of cool to just be good at everything. Like because in the past, like I haven't been so good at sports like basketball or something, just because I haven't played it. Like I've been athletic, but just I don't know, the game IQ and like the dribbling and whatnot. Like I've been all right, but it's just not couldn't play with like the best kids at the school because I'm not good at the sports because I haven't practiced it. So it's like it'd be cool to like be able to be good at everything, but at the same time, if you master something, then that's kind of like your thing.
It's nice to have that thing,
Yeah.
the real question in this chapter is like, should you be like balanced with everything but mediocre? Or be like so focused on one thing that you're a master, but like not good at anything else, right? Because that's really what it comes down to, right? When you choose one thing you really want to get good at, you'll sacrifice a lot of other things to it. But there's some sense of glory, but also self-satisfaction in being the master in one category. And a lot of people who in the past have lived great lives have chosen one thing and gone all in, right? All the masters we look at, people who we remember are masters, right? They're experts. Because you don't remember mediocre people, right? You don't maybe, but like I guess the goal of life is also not to be remembered. I guess another thing is that if you're more balanced, you feel like you're living a better life because you got to like put your dip your toes in different ponds of water. It's a really weird analogy I came up with. But that's the dilemma. And I think for me personally, like you can also like maybe describe your own perspective on this. I think it's useful to have one thing you're trying to master, but still adding other things in your life that kind of help you contribute to that one thing, right? Like resting is probably helping you with football. It's not like I don't know if golf's helping with football, but
Who
it's
knows?
another part of life that's making you happy, right? I don't think mastery needs you to only do one thing all the time, 24/7, because there are other things that can help you with the one thing that can kind of diversify a little bit, but still knowing in the back of your mind that while you do all this, what is the one that's most important to me?
But like if you're gonna be truly a master at it, you got to spend all your time doing it. So I don't know. I think that's just one of the things where it's like teach their own. Like some people might agree with it, and some people like won't won't enjoy their life if that's all they're doing.
What do you think though?
Me personally, I think the delayed gratification of being a master at something would be cool. But I think cool is all it would be. Like if I looked back and like looked at all the grind I did and to be like the best, I don't know,
Chess player,
chess player or like
swimmer,
swimmer or like, I don't know, pen flipper,
pen
like
flipper, pen flipper. You mean
some
coin flipper?
like you know the spinning pens when you spin pens on your finger.
Okay,
I tried to do that a little bit at the beginning of the year. I can do one thing with my pencil.
that's
Anyways,
cool. I
just
get it.
like I don't know. I feel like if I look back on my life, it wouldn't feel as full,
Really, you wouldn't feel full
as full as
if you did many things.
if I did many things and had many accomplishments in like different realms, you know?
I think it depends on the reasons behind why you're choosing to master the thing, right? Like I've
Yeah.
seen people, I heard the story of this one guy, right, who decided to become a fighter, right? And he went out and became a fighter, but he realized that he quit it like after some time because he realized that he was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
He was doing it for the reputation piece of it and not for the self-fulfillment, right? He didn't actually enjoy fighting. He thought it was like horrible and he didn't enjoy it. But I know people would see him as cool if he was a fighter, right? I think if you're doing it for like the reasons to just be a master because it looks cool, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you won't feel the self-fulfillment.
Fair enough.
But if you love what you're doing and you stay loving it like your whole life and you keep doing that thing, there's so many examples of people who have found that thing, right? Like they're masters of history of like found a sport or found an activity that they love so much and they said, I'm gonna spend my whole life doing it. And it's not gonna be the same every day. Like there'll be an evolution piece of it, there'll be challenges, right? That will eventually keep shaping you into the master. But I think if you love what you do, it could be a fulfilling life. If you hate what you do, it could be a miserable life. So I think there are both sides of
Yeah.
it.
You just gotta find something that you really enjoy, which some people they find it, some people they don't. And maybe some people don't have something that they could just do their entire life and never get bored of it. I don't know. I feel like some people would just like they could do something and get really good at it, but they reach a point and it's like they don't feel like the advancement in it. So they've got the accomplishment of getting good at it, but maybe not masterful at it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some people don't have that thing, but they can get good at everything, and that's also a fulfilling life, I think.
I strongly believe that everyone is a master at something. It's just a matter of finding it.
Yeah.
And I think I really strongly believe that. Because I've read so many books about this concept of mastery and purpose. Two of which I think the first one where I first understood this concept, I think they described it as purpose, that we're all born with a unique purpose because of our genetic uniqueness and our unique experiences.
Mhm.
That was like the book I read called The Way of the Superior Man. And a second book I read by Robert Greene called Mastery goes even more in depth in this topic. The more and more I read these things and understand these concepts, the more and more I believe that we all have a unique purpose to fulfill, but we just have to kind of find it, right? Because we're so genetically wired differently. We're so unique in terms of our upbringing and our parents and our experiences. But the challenge is that it might be such a niche thing that it's very hard for you to find it, right? Like
Yeah.
let's say, like I'm not saying this is the truth, right? But let's say wrestling was my purpose, but I never came to petty and I never started wrestling.
Mhm.
And I spent my whole life without wrestling. How would I have found it?
Exactly. Well, that's fair. I think, but I think even if you that was your purpose, because there's 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet, not everyone can be like a master at something. Because if you're taking master as being like one of the top, like one of the best.
Well,
So I think everyone has their own like talent. I mean, maybe there's one really unlucky person who's got nothing. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. But um everyone's probably got a talent that they have to find, but whether they can turn the talent into like being a master at it or just like get pretty freaking good at it. I don't know. Maybe that depends.
well, yeah, I don't think everyone can become a master either. I agree with that because I think there's two components to being a master. First is finding the thing, like your life's task, like your purpose that's genetically like unique to you as a
Mhm.
person. And second thing is you need discipline. Because if you're amazing at piano and you like are so inconsistent with it, it's not gonna work out.
Well, the other thing is like you could be amazing at piano, but if you don't enjoy it,
Well, yeah, I think I think there's usually a correlation, right? That it's something that you enjoy a lot and you're good at.
yeah, That's what you got to find.
Because you can't get great at something unless you enjoy doing it. Because you can't endure like the discipline of doing it, right? Like if I hate painting, right? If I
Yeah.
paint, I get a headache. I can't become a master at painting, no matter how good I am at it, because I can't sit there and do it every day for like 10 years, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're you're right when you become an adult, but like when you're a kid, I'm sure many people can agree their parents make them do things that they don't want to do, and they become pretty good at it, but not because they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
just yeah. I don't know, man. It's something I'm gonna keep learning more about because it's such an interesting concept.
it is an interesting concept.
So yeah, we'll get more into that. Let's keep going here.
How many more do you think we got time for?
Let's try to do one or two more. We can go quickly through these ones. We'll go till we're about an hour on the clock. 'Cause I know that I started the camera a little early too, but all right. Same chapter. You need to understand something very counterintuitive. Let me restart. You need to understand something very counterintuitive about goals. Goals don't improve your future. Goals only improve your present actions. A good goal makes you take action immediately. A bad goal doesn't. A goal shows you what's right and wrong. What moves you toward your goal is right, what doesn't is wrong. When you first start learning, you improve massively every week. Beginning is fun, but real expertise comes only after years of hard work. The challenge is staying on the path. You need ritual, not inspiration. Every day, no matter what, you must practice. Your practice ritual is your highest priority, an unbreakable commitment. Stubbornly protect this time against the demands of the world. Once you get momentum, never stop. It's easy to continue, but if you stop, it's hard to start again. Never miss a day. When you're not practicing, remember, somewhere, someone else is practicing. When you meet them, they will win. During your work time, do nothing but work. Keep your hands on your work, and your mind will follow. If you get stuck, just stop and close your eyes. The vacuum will extract your actions again. If you live in Canada, move to the US so that you can download TikTok again. What do you think?
I don't know. There's a lot on that page. There's a couple things that went through my mind, and now they're out, and I can't remember them. But
Never you remember. Stop at that.
oh well, shit. What do I remember? Was talking about it was the thing from the last one.
The last
Was
one.
mastery. People that's what I was thinking of. People who you need to like put in all the work, like even when it gets hard. Like it's fun at the
Oh,
beginning.
right. Then it gets kind
Then
of
it gets kind of hard, and then you gotta ask yourself why you're doing it. Like, yeah, you can do it every day, but if your goal is to only get good at it, why is that your goal? You think it would just be like cool, like fun thing? I don't know. Pen flipping. I think that'd be cool.
yeah, you got to do
I
it for
don't
the
know.
right reasons
Chess, you
again.
think it'd be
Yeah.
cool to be a world master. But after that, like if you're not like disciplined and you don't enjoy doing the work, what's really the point?
But like
Like you
I
gotta have some goals that you want to do and feel accomplished when you do it, and then you don't necessarily enjoy. But you know, at the end of the day, you kind of got to be. The goal is to be happy. Well, how you do it is differs for every person, but I don't know.
I think if we're sticking in the realms of mastery is the concept, right? Um, you know, the question of why am I doing this, right? If you don't enjoy it, you won't do it.
Mm.
But I think the piece you're talking about here when it gets hard, I think that happens even if you love what you do.
Yeah,
Because I think Connor mentioned this piece in his podcast that I remember just now, that like there will always be a time where you hate what you love. That you can be wrestling forever and there'll be a time where you hate wrestling. You can be doing podcasting every day and there's one moment where you just hate it. And I think those moments are natural because it's not always going to be easy, right? Because let's say you love wrestling just for the sake of wrestling, right? But over time, as you keep wrestling and you realize that you actually have a chance of being great at this thing that you also love, then you'll probably enter a zone where there's more and more expectations being placed on you, right? And that's where you start to question yourself, right? That when you start to lose your love for it because you have to fit these expectations, I think that's a piece that that zone could fall into. But just because there's also the fact that like you're tired of doing the same exact thing every single day. And I think as humans, we are impatient, but it's naturally, right? And especially in today's culture. So I don't necessarily think like this segment in particular was talking about that other concept we're talking about, like
no,
doing it for the right reasons. But I think even if you love what you do, you could still hit this zone, you know?
yeah, I think, but there's a difference between you know, you hit the zone where you don't like it. There's a difference between not liking it for like a day or like a week, and then there's a difference between you start loving it and then gradually you really don't like it, and you're like every day you just become something you dread doing. There's a difference between not liking it for sometimes for whatever reason, but then going back to, you know what, this is a fun sport. I like wrestling. Um, or, at the end of the day, I like making my podcasts. That one thing was really frustrating for the week, but whatever, we're past it. The difference between that and then you're going through it and you just stop enjoying it completely. And then, yeah, you can keep going and master it, but at the same time, why?
It's hard,
Why?
yeah. That's the biggest challenge of mastery. That what if you genuinely stop loving it after 6 months?
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. I don't know, man. I don't know. See, is there anything else on that page?
'Cause there was a lot. There was another thing I thought.
So I think the first I can like break down each segment, right? So the first one is about goals don't improve your future, they improve your present actions, right?
Yeah, I don't really understand what that meant, but
Yeah, that was a little bit. You're just blabbering. Um, yeah, the beginning is fun, challenge, yeah, ritual, not inspiration,
Mhm.
momentum. It's hard to regain that momentum once you're just going, going, going.
Oh yeah,
Which,
once if you stop for a
you
couple
know
of
what? I
days.
don't know if that's exactly true. Because when I did take my break over Thanksgiving, where I took like 4 or 5 days off,
Mhm.
I felt rejuvenated. I don't think I'd say the same for December break, but I definitely think that sometimes taking those times off can help you rejuvenate if you're spending the time doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can be rejuvenated if the thing you're taking a break from is something you enjoy again, kind of. Or, but it's like if you're doing something consistently that you don't really like, you take a break. That's the reason why I said on my last podcast, if I stop doing something for like even a day, like I take a break, I'm scared I'm just gonna like stop doing it altogether. Which you can listen to music for one day because you enjoy the result of not listening to music. You enjoy listening to music, so you work it in where you can have a day every week or I don't know, every month, however you do it, where you can listen to music. But at the same time, you enjoy not listening to music, where it's like, I don't really like cold showers. Sometimes they're okay, but like when I'm already cold, I have to take a cold shower. It's like there's no way. So, like over the break, I'd come back at like 3 a.m. and it's cold outside and I'm
Yeah,
kind of
there's no way
cold.
you're taking a
And
cold
there's no way I'm taking a cold
shower.
shower with the
I
Canadian
felt
cold
that.
pipes. So
Is it worse there?
it was a little bit colder. So I was like, yeah, no chance. I'd turn it cold at the end because, felt like I got to keep going a little bit. So I did the same thing last winter. I stopped and then I had to start up again. But there's no chance. Like I've kind of already stopped. Like that's the thing. Like I did it during the break, and I'm like, there's no chance I'm going back to like doing a whole full shower until spring or summer.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, let's close out with one or two more. How many you want to do?
Well, we can do one more and then see what time it is.
I'm down. All right. Millions of young adults today are living as their I always mess up in the first line. All right. Millions of young adults today are living a life their grandparents did not know was possible. They have more options thanks to the brave adventurers of a few people who broke through boundaries. Pioneers have a massive impact on the world because their stories help people do things they wouldn't have dreamed of otherwise. A famous pioneer does more for human progress than a billion others who live a normal life. So if you want to help humanity while having the most exciting life, then the way to live is to be a famous pioneer. Go to new extremes, try new ideas, visit undiscovered cultures, show what can't be done. Your job is not just to act, but to tell a fascinating story of how you did so and inspire others to do it. Make great adventures, but tell greater stories. Pursue massive media attention, not for vanity or ego, but so your stories can open mind, spark imaginations, and lead to further explorations.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's kind of like had that fantasy. Maybe maybe partially for the ego and the hubris. That's a word I learned in English class.
What does it mean?
Ego,
Okay.
something like that. Anyways, um, that's a like you watch the action heroes in movies. You want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. You want to be like Rambo because those are cool guys that go do their thing and they're doing action stuff and breaking barriers and doing whatever. It's cool to think about being a pioneer, but it's a different thing to actually go and become a pioneer. You know, you gotta like, I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know what it takes, but I feel like it would take a lot.
I think it'd be a fun life. Like, you know, I've never enjoyed, I think ever since maybe 2 years or 3 years ago, I've always told myself that I don't want to live a normal life
Hmm.
because the thought of just like living a normal life seemed kind of dreary to me. Like, and I think back to the Rizzy podcast, Navy SEAL podcast, and there was a very like key segment that he talks about. I think the segment where he talks about this is like the hell will release like 2 days from now, so you can check it out. It's pretty cool.
Sure.
But the segment he says is that there's a difference between living and being alive. If you just kind of follow the path that everyone tells you to follow and live your life just normally, you'll be living, but you won't be alive.
Yeah, 100%.
But taking risks, choosing your own path, doing things that are not conventional, then you really feel like you're alive. And he describes his story with like becoming a Navy SEAL when everyone told him that it was not possible,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like, and he's out there jumping out of planes and shit that like people can't even imagine, right? And I mean, you see all the people online always saying, yeah, do cool, take risks, do this cool shit. And I always feel like it'd be a fun life to just, if I have an idea of trying something, just go out and do it, right? At whatever scale it might be, even if it's not like a big scale, like I'm gonna go and say, yeah, here's this new lifestyle, live in Alaska, out in the woods, or like some shit. But like, there's always small ways, like every day in our day-to-day life, we can kind of break free of those chains of like day-to-day normal life. You go to school, you go to sports practice, you go to bed, you hang out with your friends.
Thing is, those chains are like they're pretty tight on some people because to do some crazy stuff like that, you gotta think, oh well, what are other people gonna think? Oh,
That's the
I
biggest
want to
thing,
become a
bro.
Navy SEAL. When people think I'm wow, that's a pretty cool thing to do. But like, I'm gonna go live out in the woods. People are gonna think I'm some recluse, some
Yeah, they're gonna
hermit.
think I'm weird on making these podcasts,
And then
but
it's also it's a huge commitment. So like, if it doesn't work out, maybe you had a good job or something and you're stable. But it's like, it's not the most fun. You want to go do a risk, but one, what are other people going to think? Two, you lose all your stability. You're gonna become a Navy SEAL. What if you fail? Now you got to go back and get a different job, or I don't know, maybe you got to start from scratch at your old job, or something like that, or you just missed out on a couple of weeks of um, improvement at that old job. So you kind of you lose stability too. You
yeah.
just gotta throw all that away and just like go for it. Live in the present, I guess.
Do
Not really
you
worry about other
do you
stuff.
feel like you struggle with the piece of worrying what other people think about you?
Sometimes, sometimes I do. I try not to, but I feel like that's just natural.
Yeah, I think I used to fall in that zone a lot, right?
Yeah,
I think I've definitely found ways to work out of that for sure. But yeah, that second argument you bring up, that's the most common argument, right? That you're gonna give up your future, you're gonna give up what you already have going for you. But
yeah.
I hate that argument even more. Because I can't imagine like sitting in my job at 50. Like people kept telling me to stay here in my job and they said you'll lose it all. And I'm just out there like, you think the pain of complacency is not that bad because it feels comfortable right now. But I really strongly think it compounds with time and kills you in the long run.
Yeah, because then when you're 50, you'd be thinking, what if I did the other thing and it worked out? Or
Yeah.
when you're like 20, you're thinking, what if I do it and it doesn't work out?
There's a
So I
there's
don't
a
know.
quote that's like you'd rather live with regrets than remorse. No, sorry, other way around.
Remorse and regret.
Yeah. Because you don't want to sit there wishing you did the thing and you didn't end up doing it, right?
Yeah,
You know what, bro? I'd rather take that pain of failure than the pain of complacency. Like I can't imagine a life of complacency.
fair enough.
Yeah, man.
It's hard for some people, but it's probably hard for me too. But
It's hard for me
I don't
too.
know. You gotta work around it.
Yeah,
Just gotta think about the future. How you gonna feel in the future?
yeah, for sure. Check where we're at.
An hour nine.
All right, let's do one more. All right, we'll go hit the
My
gym.
hip kind of hurts.
These chairs are not comfortable.
From yesterday too.
All right, we're gonna close out. One last one here. All right. So yeah, the second half, if we ever, I think you're gonna be my backup guy. Oh yeah, this got canceled. So far, I've had two people cancel, and it's always the most stressful thing in the world.
Thing is, that's remember when we were talking about what's it called? Um, like the you get stuck in a way of thinking, so you can't like think of other ways, even though like you're educated. So like other people,
Recency bias, yeah.
yeah, that thing. You it's okay sometimes. I'm not telling like
No, no, it's
consistency is good.
time minimize, yeah.
I'm to consistency is good, and I'm not telling you to do anything, but I'm just presenting you a different way of thinking about things. Like it's not that big of a deal if you miss 1 week. Like, yeah, there's a guy missed, but what's the point of stressing over it if
No,
like
you're
there's
right.
not much you can do? So like you don't have to get like locked in one mindset of, oh, I have to do a podcast this week, unless you're gonna like lose your life. Like, I don't know, someone's holding a gun to your head, do a
You
podcast.
know, I
But
agree with that to the point where it's like it's actually ruining your life,
yeah,
right? There's definitely people out there who are so stressed about shit that's like, what's the fucking point, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, sure, I was stressed this morning, right? Like for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour. It's just like I think yeah, you're right. I've spent so much time like understanding the whole concept of consistency and everything that the losing a week of the podcast is like, oh my God, right? But while I do value consistency, I think there are ways to work through that stress piece of it where like I can like do what I can. I think I've the thing that's helped me most with stress is just to worry about what I have control over,
yeah.
right?
That's
Someone
fair.
cancels, I don't have control over it. And instead of feeling stressed in the moment like I did today, which I want to get better at in the future, I can tell myself, okay, what do I have control over? Okay, let me just ask 2 or 3 people if they
Yeah,
can do it with me.
exactly.
They say no, then I'm not gonna be stressed the rest of the day. I'll just think I did my job, whatever, right? So I
Exactly.
think it's like a balance maybe
No.
somewhere in the middle, right? Where like sure maybe I lean more toward I love consistency side of things. Like I want to not miss a single week because it's so clean in my eyes to see every single week. But again, I don't think the stress is good for anyone. So
Yeah.
if you're disciplining yourself so hard where it's like your life is miserable, then it's like
There's no point in getting too caught up in it.
yeah.
Like consistency is good, obviously. And if you're not consistent and you're like, oh well, this got canceled. Okay, whatever. Or I don't feel like doing a podcast this week. Oh well, whatever. Okay.
But we had a good podcast though.
Yeah, we had a good
We had
podcast, I think.
pretty
But
interesting topics. Let's close out. Um, where's this one? Study history, tradition, and culture. Get to know places that haven't been homogenized. Homogenized?
homogenized.
Homogenized by globalization. When a person loses their memory, they lose their sanity. When a culture loses its tradition, it loses its sanity too. The world is acting crazy because it doesn't know who it is anymore. Move to a small self-sufficient town that has resisted modernization, ideally an untouched place that hasn't changed in 100 years and won't change in 100 more. Spend time outside. Find happiness and perspective in nature. It reminds you that you don't need anything the modern world is pushing. Everything they're shouting about will soon be gone. Learn time-tested skills that that were just as useful in your grandparents' time as they are today. Speaking, writing, gardening, accounting, persuasion, and survival skills. These skills have hardly changed in a century. They're unlikely to change in your lifetime. Master the fundamentals, not new tricks. Learn the timeless aspects of your craft. This knowledge will never lose its value. In any given field, learn the oldest things still around, since it's the one thing most likely to last. Become a geologist. You'll measure things in millions of years. Your timeline will be so long that mountains seem fluid. The whole modern world will seem like a sandcastle, built and washed away a single day.
Hmm. I don't know. How old is that book actually?
It's recent. Can figure that out for you.
Because when they said the whole world is going crazy, I'm thinking if this book,
2021.
oh, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense. If they're
COVID.
saying the whole world is going crazy and it's like 1950 and here we are 70 years later and we're like, holy shit, it's even crazier,
Yeah,
then that'd be kind of crazy to think about. But
scary.
no, it's pretty recent, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. Um, I'll be honest, I don't really know what to think about that because you kind of gotta be able to embrace change. But I guess at that point, you're changing to the past. So you're not changing from the past. You're changing from right now to the past. I don't know. I don't really know. What do you think about it? But I'm
I,
interviewing you now. What
okay.
do you think about it?
I think that's an interesting concept, right? The theme they're going for is value what's already endured, right? That what has lasted in history is likely to last. And we hear about all these like new things, like new upcoming things like AI and all this shit, right? Which a lot of it's pretty useful, a lot of it's cool. But while you can master these new tricks, I think the key argument they're bringing up here is that master the fundamentals first. Things that haven't changed in 100 years are unlikely to stay in for another 100 years, right? Because like there are things that will never change, right? And I think that things like I was hearing this on another podcast, right? That things, some things in the Bible, like some of the things they talk about with human nature, have been in human nature from literally the start to like now, like things of envy and emotions and greed. These things are still circulating in our nature because there are some timeless things that just don't change, right? And I think starting with the things that are will always last, and then getting into learning some of the newer things. I think starting with the fundamentals is crucial, I think, in my opinion, anything you're trying to do, right? Because
I
it
like
also
that.
goes back to the mindset that there's nothing like special you need to know to become successful. Just the simplest things done compoundedly over time.
I like that. Building on the fundamentals. I I kind of thought it was just saying like stay at the fundamentals, but I like the idea of building on it because like AI is new. It's cool, a fancy tool, but you can't let artificial intelligence think for you. You can't let it be your own thoughts. You have to be able to think yourself critically so that you can use AI in the way that you want to use it, you know? I don't know, whatever old tools, maybe understand those, and then you can go to the new ones. Maybe if the new ones break or something, I don't know.
Do
But
you like AI? Do you use it a lot?
I don't feel like I don't use it. I'm not opposed to it or anything. Like I like it and it's useful when I do use it, but it's just kind of like at the back of my mind. Like I don't really like it's not the first thing I go to. It's just not I don't really know how to explain it. Like it's not the first thing I think of when it's like, oh, I have this big project to do. Not the first thing I think of is not Chat GPT,
Right.
even though it might be a little easier.
I think like it's definitely a useful tool in general, and I know a lot of people use it for 100 different things and in very creative ways that
Mhm.
it's very useful. But I think there's only one thing that I'm kind of worried about with it, and that is that so a lot of people look at school tasks and work tasks in general as a task that needs to be complete,
Mhm.
right? So they won't value it as something that's really helpful for them. It's just like a hurdle, right? I think a lot of people these days look at school as a tool rather than education, right? I think people are not going to school to educate themselves. They're going to school so they can get to good universities and get a good job, right? So they see it as something they have to pass by to get to an end result. So they see and say, what is the most optimal way I can get this stuff done? They'll go to AI, they'll find a fast way to do it. And they won't feel guilty about it because they're not using it for education, they're using it to get through it. So in that way, it can be justified. But there's one thing I think about that worries me a little bit. While the school system, like you might be studying government, while you might have no plans of going into government in the future, I think the process of working on a project or the process of like thinking through things on your own, it uses muscles in your brain and kind of activates like your ability to, use your mind, right? If it's like a creative writing class, the fact that you're writing the story yourself, you're using the creative muscles in your mind, which will be very helpful. Even if you're not doing creative writing in the future, it'll activate those creative muscles when you're working on other things like a podcast, that there's things that are happening in the background when your mind engages with something that when an AI does it for you, you're not actually like using those muscles. And when you don't use those muscles, what happens? They atrophy.
I think I think you're right. I think what school is, like low key, is it's like learning to learn because if you're not going to go into biology, I don't care about the ribosomes or the nucleus or the mitochondria that are in like plant cells or whatever. Like I don't care about that stuff, but you're learning how to learn so that when you have to go to a job and you got to learn something new, you can learn it faster and
Right, you learn how to learn.
yeah, that's
Interesting,
what I
yeah.
think school. But at the same time, if you're learning how to learn, cheating is not necessarily the worst thing in my eyes. I'm not saying I cheat. If any of my teachers are watching this, I don't cheat. Um,
They do.
but like if you like AI, they have like AI checkers now. Like it's a new thing, so you can get away with it easier. But like they got like the checkers the same way where they have plagiarism checkers. They can check if it's like AI or not. I don't know. Maybe the new AIs are better at
It's pretty good at
going around
I
it.
think the AI checkers are pretty good. I've like played around
Yeah.
testing it, but yeah.
But it's like if you can get away with cheating, that's like its own little problem. Like you can problem solve.
And
That's practicing your problem
it
solving
also
muscles.
positively reinforces that behavior, right? So you're gonna always try to go to that kind of behavior when you face that
I
problem.
guess that's true. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think about it.
Well, cool, man. Thank you for being my backup guest coming last minute today.
No problem.
Clutch. So yeah, let's go lift. Let's have a day.
Gym time.
Gym time.
Gym time.
Peace.
Peace.